Well, hello, hello, hello. Welcome once again to yet another episode of Unzipping. If that's your first time here, this is a series of videos in which I take a look for the first time at a game, an indie game that caught my eye and that I didn't have the opportunity to look at before. So it's like unboxing, but for PDFs. It's not a proper review per se, since this is the first time I'm actually reading the game and opening opening it. But with this review or this first look, actually, you can get to analyze a little bit of the game design choices and the graphic design choices. And today we are featuring Fist by Claymore. And this game I've had in my library for quite a long time. I got it in a bundle, and never had a chance to actually read it. So I reached out to the author, and they said they were about to release an expanded and revised version, and that happened last Friday or Saturday. So I said, well, that seems like a perfect opportunity for me to take a look at it. So I waited a few days, and here it is. So the thing we're looking at is the new version of Fist. I hope you enjoy it. Let's start, as usual, with the itch page in which you can find the game. Shall we? There you go. The link, if you want to buy it, is on the description. I got this game a year ago in the bundle for racial justice and equality. Uh, but since this is a very, very large bundle, there are still a lot of games in there that I didn't have the chance to read. But I was going through my games, and I saw this one, and I don't know a thing about this game, but it caught my attention because of the way it presents itself here, with a sort of assembling a machine gun, it looks like. And there is this kind of instructional style of building things or crafting something, and some things that are marked out like this is from a secret file or something like that. I think it's interesting. And I saw some random tables here for you to generate a mission, and a very interesting layout choice with a left column to put the drawings and schemes, and everything on the text on a right column, which I thought it was interesting. But I have no idea. And I read freelance infantry strike teams, so I assumed it was a game about mercenaries or something like that. And I thought, well, this is so out of the scope of games that I usually make, play, read, or consume, or in any form, that was enough information for me to actually seek it, because I think we benefit from popping the bubble a little bit and looking at things that you wouldn't normally do. So it looks like a game I wouldn't have the tool sets or the skill sets to make. And a game at a first glance, a game about mercenaries and everything, is not exactly on the realm of games I feel more inclined to play these days. So I said, well, why not? It looks like a well-designed game, and it can help me expand a little bit of my uh, genre consumption, so to speak. Now, let's go through the page real quick. So now we're in the second half of the 20th century. Okay, so it happens in the past. The powers that be are locked in a tense nuclear standoff, and the fate of the world hangs in the balance. Away from the watchful eye of the national intelligence, A cadre of exceptional misfits is assembled. These soldiers of fortune are uniquely equipped for covert and unusual operations. In these uncertain times, the line between science and superstition has been broken, and the new arms race is only beginning. You or your associates may be faced with weapons, tactics, and actors unlike any you have ever seen. For a price, those exceptional misfits can help. When you're all out of options, it's time to call fists. Okay, so this gives me a sense of actually mercenaries in the brink of a nuclear standoff. That's something close to reality that we had in the middle of the last century. But there's kind of a mystical aspect to it. Let's discover. So one referee and 2 to 6 players. Okay, so like a standard division of games. It draws heavily from Chris Wolf and Olivia Goulding's Off-Worlders. Ah, I've read this game a long time ago. I don't remember a thing about it, but good shout out. I should look into it again. And John Harper's World of Dungeons. Okay, and also inspired by Metal Gear Solid, the A-Team, and Doom Patrol. So I assume the first one is a video game. I apologize. I have no knowledge of video games at all. The A-Team, Doom Patrol, I think those are on the comic book slash TV series sort of thing. So yeah, let's go. Paranormal Mercenaries. Oh, okay. Play a telekinetic alien, a mutant sniper, or a cyborg ninja. Okay, this is very much my kind of jam. Okay, so it's not like a regular warfare. There's this weird war aspect to it. Okay, cool. Using traits. Okay, there's a modular trait system. So I am assuming it's just like you pick and choose, and you can choose to be like a cyborg and choose to be a ninja, and then you combine, and that gets you your unique character. Brutal action, fast fluid stunts and combat with PBTA resolution roll. So that's the snippet from World of Dungeons, I assume. The system deepens organically as characters advance. That's an interesting claim. Offering intriguing choices and mechanics, but never interfering with the action. So I think we start with a small package, like a simpler character. And then as we advance in play, we get to choose more options that kind of give a little more fine detail for more complexity, maybe, huh? Tactical operations. Plan and execute Cold War espionage missions using enemy weapon and mod templates in tandem with the randomized scenario generator. Okay, I like it. Structure campaigns around a leveling system which uses open-ended character development in place of XP and loot. Okay, I see. So we're in Cold War, right? And it's not necessarily combat focused, although there are mechanics for it, but the missions are centered maybe around espionage, or they touch the point of espionage. Now it is revised and expanded, as I mentioned. 4,950 possible starting character builds. Pretty cool. 47 brand new traits. Portray kleptomaniac rock stars, genius detectives, and tentacled freaks who have death on speed dial. Okay. A tighter, more randomized, more lethal game inspired by the best of the OSR. Okay, so it draws a little bit of inspiration from the OSR. And here there's The Ultimate Misfit Mashup. Ragtag team of fighters. Okay. Right. It's for sale for $10. All community copies are claimed at this point. So if you want to support the game, you gotta purchase it. I already did as part of a bundle. Is it on a bundle right now? I don't think it is. And there is some activity here in the comments. Claymore has popped out to clarify some rules. There's some revision going on here as well, and people seem to be enjoying it. Someone assembled a map and custom character sheet for tabletop simulator. Huh? See, that's pretty cool, huh? That's very nice. Okay, the most of my inspiration for this game came from comics, video games, and TV shows. Pulpy action movie type gig. Okay. So it seems that people are enjoying. I bet I will as well. Let's download it. See what comes with the package. That's it. A file, 14 megabytes. Let's get this one. There you go. So I really like this cover. FIST is both an acronym and a word. So it stands for Freelance Infantry Strike Team, and it gives this impression of a punch, right? Fist, and this bold letters, the white on black, also reinforce the theme of a strike team, someone that you assemble to go do something that they're very good and that nobody else could do. So it shows some kind of power, some kind of strength, right? And there it goes, a paranormal mercenary role-playing game. So these two words sum up pretty much the feeling we got from reading the each page, right? We're talking about mercenaries. They are not regular people. And I like the idea of having this overlay of a gun being assembled that kind of is reminiscent of how I'm assuming, you assemble your character by combining things, and how you assemble your team by by putting together a ragtag team of very unique people, right? So I think that's a very clever use of those schematics. Credits. Writing, design, and layout by B. Everton and Ripley Caldwell. There is a consulting by Stranger Zone, typefaces, schematics provided by a few people, and playtesters, and the inspirations. It's licensed under CC BY, so if you want to make stuff derived from FIST, you are authorized by the Creative Commons license. Very cool. Should we use the spread layout? I don't think we should. This game reads like it's page by page sort of feel. And oddly enough, even the odd pages are on the left, and the right pages, the even pages are on the right. But so I don't think they intend this game to be read as spreads, but more as single sheets of paper. I wonder if there is a physical copy available. I don't think there is. I may have missed it, but I don't think so. No. So as usual, I'm going to do a quick flip through Just to see what kind of things we have here. So here, the generators, they look like those secret mission scopes that someone would get. Example mission. Okay, cool. And now we have the traits. They are alphabetical and they are a lot. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 pages of traits. So yeah, endless customization for your characters. And then custom traits if you feel so inclined. And then there are roles and index. I guess I haven't read through the character creation yet, but I think you grab a role like an archetype, and then you complement the character creation by picking the traits, I'd assume. This is a character sheet. Oh, it looks like a profile. Very clever, very interesting. And transmission. And this is the end of the book, Claymore role-playing games. So I'm calling them Claymore because that's the handle on Twitter, but I'm assuming this is B. Everett Dutton or Ripley Caldwell. I'll be referring as Claymore just for the sake of it. I don't want to make any mistakes. So yeah, there we go. Let's see what we have here. Very clear division on the content section. I deeply appreciate it. We have three big chunks: one space for the players, a space for the referee, and then the supplies that are the tables and the lists of things that you can use, cleverly divided. And it's a very short game. It's like 30 something pages, right? Let me see. The PDF's 31 pages. So yeah, clear to, you know exactly what you're going to get when you go to a page. So getting started, necessary items for play and play as a conversation, how to make your characters, how to roll the dice, how do you continue playing after you started, and then notes on referee, notes on the theater of the mind, and reference guide for ludomechanical engineering. I'm very curious to see that. Traits index, then roles index into the character sheet. Pretty straightforward. A very cool schematic on top to help reinforce the theme. And here we go. So we need D6s, copies of the traits and roles indexes. I think you pass those around as you play as you create the characters. Character sheets, paper and pencil. Very cool, very simple stuff, easy to get. Play as a conversation. This is something that we get on many PBTA derived games between the players and the referee. There are no normal turns, as PBTA games don't. And the referee will tell them when a player does something risky, the referee will tell them to roll the dice to find out. Okay. So how to make your merc. Is that how you pronounce a mercenary? Short for mercenary, I suppose. So traits are the building blocks. It gives you three things: a skill, an item, and a modification to your stats. Okay, you pick a handful of traits and you have a complete character. When you advance, you get another trait. So it's like another building block. So you have like a legal building of character. I think it's very approachable in my opinion. So this the fist is the unity you belong to. You're a soldier. You're one of the little guys, so not very much important. And but you may also be someone who can turn into a ghost or control bees with their mind. So this is the paranormal aspect of it. and you fight for your life as you make ends meet alongside others like you. So this sets some kind of expected fiction. You are, although you have those powers that make you unique, you are not in any form special. You're not like a hero. You're just trying to make ends meet and try to survive in an age of uncertainty and doing what you can, right? So just to get it's good to have when you're building a character right on top of it to give you some sort of expectation on what kind of story you're going to tell with this character. So, and then we have five steps to for you to create. You get a character sheet. You have one, two, three, four attributes: forceful, tactical, creative, and reflexive. They sound like approaches, right? If you're familiar with Fate Accelerated, they look like the way you choose to act in a certain circumstance. So yeah, it represents a skill level when approaching a related challenge. Then you get two traits at the beginning, right? And then you fill out your attributes, inventory, armor, and HP. So you don't spread points across the attributes when you're creating your character. Instead, you pick the traits that will give you a modification to your stats, and then you fill out it after you've chosen the traits. So you start at 0, calculate them, fill out your inventory with the things you have. You can only equip one weapon at a time, makes sense. And then armor is 0. And then you have 6 max HP. And there's war dice. I saw something on the comments about war dice. There's some speculation about rules change and something. So let's keep an eye on it. I'm very curious to learn what this war dice thing is all about. Let's see. When anyone rolls dice for any reason, you can spend one war die and add 1d6. Oh, okay. So I wonder if this is a 3d6 roll instead of a 2d6, or is a 3d6 and keep two highest. I guess we're going to learn very soon. And after you do that, you choose a roll from the rolls index. So, oh, my assuming was wrong. You don't pick a roll and then a trait. You pick traits and then you pick a roll. It's something your character always wants to do. You can't choose a role someone else already has. So there is some kind of niche protection here, and they feel the roles that you have in the team. And then there is a code name for yourself and a real name, but never tell anyone what it is, not even the referee, until the perfect moment arises. Oh, so is there a fictional or mechanical trigger for you to say your real name? And there are no list of names, right? You come up with them by yourself. I'm assuming. Cool. This is a code name, pre-made example characters. So Colonel Kraken, the HP, the armor, roll icon, go down in history as a winner. Okay, those traits, and then there is a paragraph with blacked out name of the secret project that Colonel Kraken is a result of. Develop tentacles and superhuman reflexes. He strives to become a legendary mercenary. Okay, and then the Howling Hound has nothing to her name but a cold crow spear machined over several shifts. Experimental cyborg exoskeleton. Stolen from the factory floor. She'll stop at nothing to bring the system down. So the role here is punk, fight for exploited workers. I really like the roles. They are like an archetype plus a motivation or an instinct or both combined. Yeah, it's quite easy to give flavor and give a gentle push for characters to follow a storyline and for players to engage their characters in following that storyline. I wonder how we get new traits. How what's the advancement system? Is it based on maybe pursuing those things you want from your role? We shall find out. We have two more characters here with the role of Avenger, kill fascists and tyrants. Nice. Wild card, given to the Helm's influence. Okay, I, I don't know what that means, but sounds interesting. Telekinetic. I love telekinesis. I think it would be my superpower of choice if I had the chance. So, how do we roll the dice? You don't need to roll the dice when it's something the character could easily accomplish, okay? Or if it's something impossible, okay. You choose an attribute. The referee might ask you or decide if the answer is unclear. And we'll tell you some of the possible outcomes. So this is interesting. It's hard coded here that the referee should telegraph, foreshadow danger. So you're doing this in case things go south. This is the possible outcome of your action. So you can decide to choose something if you don't feel like doing that anymore. Forceful is strength, tactical, it's intellect, creative expressions of will, like persuasion, bluffing, and manipulation. So like social interactions mostly. And reflexive for dexterous movements, like dodging bullets and so on. Now you roll to the 6, add the attributes, and then we have the classic three-way result of PBTA games. 6 or less, 7 and 9, 10 or above. With a twist, double sixes is a critical success. I'm not sure this is from... Is this from World of Dungeon? I don't remember. But I like it. The referee never rolls the dice, okay? Rules of engagement. Attacking works the same as anything else. Deal the damage listed for your weapon. If you are being attacked, you roll the dice to avoid, counter, etc. If you take damage, subtract from HP. If you're wearing armor, subtract it. HP is precious, so stealth, guerrilla warfare, and creative thinking are necessary for survival. Yeah, so your maximum is 6 HP. So I think it's quite easy for your character to die in case you choose to engage on direct conflict. If you drop to 0, you're dead. There are no saving throws in war, my friend. So yeah, it's pretty clear here. You don't get a second chance. It's not a forgiving system. It's you hit 0, you're done. Now, mission structure. How are campaigns structured here? There's a series of missions. Each lasts a single play session. Sometimes there is an overarching plot. Other times there are just one-off jobs. Sometimes the mission is unpaid for personal reasons. So this is cool. You can play a single mission in a session. You can connect those in a overarching story, or you can play one-offs that's like very episodical. Uh, it makes it easy for you if you have like a fluctuating game group. When someone can't show up, it's okay, because let's suppose it's a large group of misfits in this fifth group, and someone is participating on a single mission, the next one they are not, and that's okay. Characters advance when they act according to their role. Haha, bingo. Excellent. For instance, a crusader advances if they behaved ethically during the course of a mission. If you feel you've reached natural closure for your role, you can choose a new one. Okay, so yeah, I was wondering that because since it gives a very particular direction for your role play and for your choices, I was assuming that a smart game design choice would be to incentivize players to follow those roles. And the easiest, the most efficient, let's say, most efficient, or one of the most efficient way to do so is to put advancement behind an expected behavior, right? So that's a reward for you to choosing your role. If you advance, you can choose to gain a new trait, an additional war die, or 1d6 hit points. If you get a new trait, you tell how you got them. Like you got the illusion trait, and something happening during the adventure that justify that kind of trait you got. Okay. You can feel free to risking traits too, like bard is actually a warrior poet, or your parkour gives you a golf club. Okay, cool. So pretty cool. Character creation is super easy, super straightforward. I think the hardest part of creating a character here is actually choosing from the large trait list. I think it could be beneficial to have like a randomizer of sorts. Does it have like it's just use d6s? It would be odd to have like a different kind of dice just for rolling on a table, but it could be a d66. Maybe there are more than 36, right? Because it's a lot of traits. A d666, but that's 216 traits. Oh, one thing that would be cool. Well, I always think of cards. So can you imagine if they have like those traits printed out in half of poker-sized card, and you kind of shuffle them in the beginning of a session, and just handed two of those for the players, and maybe the roles too, right? You have like a deck of roles and a deck of traits, and then you give one row and two traits to each one. When you flip it, you kind of make a combination of those to inform your character. I think that would be super cool, huh? I love randomizing character creation. I don't like randomizing attributes. I don't like giving the dice the choice of how good or bad my character is going to be regarding like the stats. But I like giving the dice the choice over traits, over uh, characteristics and mannerisms and things that give flavor to my character. So I would, if there were an option to do it randomly, I would certainly do it for sure. Okay, so we go to the referee guide. So what's going to be the job of a referee? Narrate the situation. Okay, all classical stuff. Respond to the reaction. how the scenario changed after an action. You have three goals to keep in mind. Those like are the agenda or principles of PBTA games, right? So they are supply Cold War intrigue and paranormal excitement. Soviet Union is harnessing a portal to another dimension to gain the edge against the West. A pharmaceutical corporation is breeding a mind-controlling fungus to sell to the center, and so on. So those are examples of things you have to do. Excite your players with grand conspiracies and strange phenomena beyond the fringes of scientific thought. Okay, so this is giving the flavor that there's something bigger going on, and there, especially, this is very fitting for this era. I don't know if you were alive during this period. I was young, but I was alive, and we didn't have access to actual information of what was going on the other side of the how is it called in Portuguese? Is cortina de ferro, iron curtain. So there was this mystique that was associated with what was happening, and since it was a Cold War, it's not overt. The strategies, all those theories and conspiracies popped up, and so I think giving this a paranormal twist is very fitting to the kind of mentality we lived during those times. Never stop the action. Always keep things moving, push players forward, challenge them. Keep missions one wrong move away from failure. So you're always on the edge. Create opportunities for them to be cool. In play to find out what happens. The classic motto of PBTA. Look at your ideas through crosshairs. I really like that. Be ready to improvise. That's my jam for sure. Now, quality fiction. Notes on theater of the mind. It's not an accurate simulation of fictional situation. Okay. Respond to the dice. So a failure is not just they didn't get what they want. It's an opportunity to fail forward, and negative consequences. Love it. I think I could never play a game again that does not embody this kind of mentality, right? I can't go like roll for perception and you fail, nothing happens. I can't plan around the characters. So a lot of the mechanics require specific fictional situations to function correctly. So you should design your missions to be conducive to those mechanics. Okay, this is I love this, right? I actually 5 years ago, I'd say, I wrote an article about it, like how character sheets are the most important source for GMs when designing adventures or sessions or prepping, basically, because the choices your players made when creating their character are a compass of things they're expecting to experience during play. So if you should address those interests and those pointings in the scenes you come up with. I think this is a smart decision. So much so that I intend to incorporate a way in my future designs to do it mechanically and not just as a suggestion. You actually have to or to check out what kind of, because I'm very into GMless play, but so as a group you decide what will be the spotlight of the scene, and you choose among the skill set or the traits of your characters. And now it's time to do something that puts this in focus, and we intentionally seek those moments. So Claymore is pointing this direction. I really appreciate that. So, so if you have a telekinetic character who controls water, don't set your mission in a desert. Yeah, that's not cool. If you have a character who has the punk role, provide them establishments to dismantle, right? Give them ample opportunities to shine. It's brilliant advice. Ask questions and use the answers, like build on the answers and the things that players bring to the table. So, you define things about the world and character creation, leave gaps. Uh, you can insert factions based on the things that characters provide from the roles they chose. Ask questions for the players that the characters should know about the world and use those to plan your missions and everything. Adjudicate trait abilities fairly. This is specific to the way this game works, I'm assuming. They're vaguely defined. So it can break the game if you let players indulge and overpower, I'm assuming. Don't cheat the players out of being cool or powerful. They can be legendary mercenaries. Never be afraid to open a dialogue at a table. There is no downside to a fun what if conversation. So yeah, keep things fair for the other players too. So this is a table, not a mechanic, but a table. How can I say it? Dynamic. That's the word I'm looking for. A table dynamic that I think is very important when we're playing any sort of game, really. That is the setting expectations, right? I would do this when actually introducing the characters. Oh, okay. Every player has made their characters. Now let's introduce the characters to each other, and let's discuss what you guys think you should be able to do with the traits you have. Oh, I think you should telekinesis. I can like bring a mountain. I'm not so sure. And this way you can get a feeling that maybe all players will enjoy the game the same way because their characters are capable of influencing the fiction in the same amount, right? If they have interesting powers and things that not like overshadow other players. Now, custom content. What is this? Quick reference guide for ludomechanical engineering. I really like this subtitle. There's a pre-made mission. We're going to see it. But there's a reference guide to create your own content. Deeply appreciate it. Create an enemy. There are templates here. Civilians and animals with the stats. Okay, love it. So you just like reskin it and reflavor. Perfect. So there's an example. I'm assuming this paragraph of Cyclops is an example. It doesn't change the font, so I'm kind of lost. Okay, I think so, yeah. Cyclops, his fist seen through a dark mirror, blah, blah, blah. Oh, okay, no, the Cyclops is fist seen through a dark mirror. Okay, so this is the, like the opposite faction. Personification of the system. Cyclops is the man. Okay, okay, so it's not an example, my bad. They will, Fist will inevitably butt head with Cyclops. They are extraordinary paranormal individuals with code names. Oh, okay, so they're, yeah, so they're the match for fists. It's a very interesting narrative device to have like a competing and opposite force that can be a challenge for the characters. Now, how to create weapons? There is damage, very easy, 1d6 plus 1 plus 1 2d6. I thought that they would be fixed damage for some reason. We can have some modifications like armor piercing, incendiary, poison, stun. Okay. Additional rules, miscellaneous. Can rest between sessions to heal. Hazards of the environment, they're 1d6 damage. The referee may roll the six to leave something of the story up to fate. Oh, this is the luck roll from World of Dungeon, right? That's also present on Blades of the Dark later on. I love it. I add it to my games as well. Okay, so this is how you make your stuff. Not to a mission per se, but enemies, weapons, and particular rules. Now you have how to make a mission. This is the mission generator. I love myself a cool generator. Let's do a random one. I don't have dice here, but let's imagine. It's 46. So the results in my head are 2, 4, 5, 3. So an evil mega corporation is trying. The dossier says an evil mega corporation is trying to create a new form of biological warfare, which will turn the Cold War hot, but a late historical figure is somehow alive and involved. And there's a twist. At the last moment, right before the climax, we roll on one of the tables to introduce. Oh, very clever, Claymore. I really like that. Huh. So actually, in the end, right before the climax, I can re-roll and the dossier says, for instance, and instead of the 2, I get 4. It's not an evil mega corporation, actually. It's a strange and ancient cult. That's a very clever idea. Hmm. I've seen mission generators in many games and with plot twists applied on a separate column of a table. But that's the first time that I've seen this idea of re-rolling one of the tables to actually show the truth behind what is being done. That's very clever. Is this a reference? I would like to ask Claymore if this is a reference from a different game their original design in any way. Congrats, I love it. I might use it, and I will credit you if I do in my next games. Huh. This is very cool. So far, my favorite part of the game. Now, this is a characters for example mission. They're not NPCs, I'm assuming. No, they're the characters. Okay, cool. And this is the example mission. They're separated in 3 parts. Are those 3 parts previously mentioned? Like 3 loops, not 3 loops, but 3 phases, 3 stages of the mission. I don't think they are. But so we have, I think this is a template for you to make your mission. We start with tactics. We kind of investigate things, reports from witnesses. Players are outside the factory. There are soldiers there, blah, blah, blah. And then espionage. They're inside. They kind of get more information. There's an interrogation. They can find things, stuff. There is not action here. Okay. They there might be because there are troopers here, and even on the tactics phase, there are soldiers here as well. So there's potential for direct conflict. But as the game says before, you're encouraged to use stealth because you can die quite easily. After they complete the investigation, there's a screaming, and then parasites are fused with a rhythm mass of flash. Ugh. The monster, there's a monster there. Okay, armored and heavyweight, synthetic trait. The mission is complete when the players have neutralized the monster, perhaps through combat or by destroying the factories using bomber. Okay, so see, that's a very is lean is or lean, should I say, uh, adventure design. You have like three phases, very clear stages, and I think we can play through a 2 or 3 hour session, depending on the kind of the style of play of the players, and depending if they engage in combat with phases 1 or 2. But yeah, I see how this can be played as one-offs, or you can have like recurring NPCs, enemies, or threads to explore further. Super cool. On the traits, I can't go through all of them because I think that everything that is in capitals here are traits, or some of them are. Like bomber is synthetic, probably armored, heavyweight. Let's see. Armored is bomber is what bomber do? Let's see an example. If you have a reasonable amount of prep time, you can use your bomb kit and attempt to destroy any structure by rolling plus tactical. And then you get +1 as in tactical, and you get a bomb kit with 1 use. Cool. Yeah. So you have a special power or talent or skill, something for your inventory, and a way to change your attributes or your HP, as I can see, like Achilles. You have a terrible weakness, but great power. You have +6 max HP. Cool. Centipede. You have a worm-like parasite living inside you. Ooh, you may roll forceful to bite someone. The parasite travels through your mouth and latches on, controlling their body. And may create a chain of bodies. Like the human centipede. You gain their HP and any special abilities. Man, this is twisted. Climber. You can climb surfaces with hand and footholds without rolling dice. Contortionist cyborg. You have augmented superhuman. Detonator. You can explode once. Yeah, you can explode yourself. Doing so kills you massively. Destroys nearby structures and deals 2d6 damage to everyone around you. Yeah, that is a choice that you can make. Druid. Understand the thoughts of animals. Duelist. Fashionable. You can combine multiple pieces of armor. Oh, okay. And make a cohesive outfit. Okay, cool. Freeze. See, there's a bunch of stuff. So once again, what I'd like to have those in small cards because I will have a severe case of analysis paralysis if I were to make my own character, unless it would be something like, "Hey guys, let's play a game next week. Here are the list of traits. Go through it, and come to the session with the characters already made." Okay, easily done because there are no mechanical implications doubts that would arise. I'm assuming it's just like pick a role, pick two traits, and you're done. That's something you can do by yourself. You just you can take your time to read through the traits and enjoy going through them. So yeah, the downside of a random character creation is that when you intentionally give a table that you can't roll on, you're like inviting slash forcing players to read through them, and by that you can you can suggest things about the world, right? Just by going through, since there is no like a large lore or word building, when you go through those options of character traits, Claymore is informing us of what kind of world this game lives on, right? So I think there is value on doing what we're doing here. Like when I read Highlander, when you kill someone, you may gain a trait not associated based on any special abilities they may have. So this is informing me that this is a reality of this world, that people that do this exist, that human centipedes exist. If I just rolled, I maybe never had the chance to be informed of this part of the world, right? Tables are setting. You have some kind of relationship with death. Okay. Runner, superhuman speed. You have a rival. You have a recruit. So yeah, the traits are cool because they're not necessarily all supernatural powers. They can be very mechanical or weapon inventory gadget based. They can be more like a storytelling narrative focus, like rival. Choose any other player to be a rival. You heal 1d6 HP when you one up or humiliate your rival. So this is another thing that informs a lot about the setting. There is inter-party dynamics that involve rivalry. That it changes the table dynamic uh, greatly if someone chooses something like that. I'm assuming this is a particular trait that you should choose carefully and talk it out with the other players involved, right? Because it can shift the balance and the focus of a gameplay too much if this one-upsmanship kind of takes away from the other players or the major mission or narrative that's going on. It can be interesting if everyone is on board, but it can grab the spotlight really easily otherwise. If your rival thoroughly one-ups you, you lose any war dice you have. So yeah, I think the part of the revised and expanded edition, if I remember correctly, is the number of traits we have here, right? Social, you have a likable personality. Sniper, supply, synthetic. Yes, it is a trait too. You're an android. Telekinetic, trooper. You're a hallucinogen enthusiast. So another information. Acid tab. Drugs are part of the setting. You learn a lot about the game reading through it, right? Vampire. You starve for blood, the classic one. Sunlight harms you. Yeah, it's an actual vampire. It's not a metaphor or like a nickname. Vehicle. You have a customized civilian vehicle of your choice. Oh, that's a cool choice. Venomous veteran. Xeno. You're clearly an alien, so that's another information. We have actual extraterrestrial beings living with us. And custom traits, I don't think they're so hard to create. I don't think you need, first of all, but players, they can always come up with a lot of weird stuff they want to create. And it's quite easy to like you a modifier to the attributes, a kind of equipment, and a special power. Like you can be undead. When you will die, you lower all of your attributes by one and revive next session. But you get -2 to creative. Remember that creative is the social attribute. So yeah, you're not as an undead. You're not very good at persuasion and being charming. Surprise, surprise. The roles, they are a list of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Avenger. Describe someone who wronged you and what they did. Advance. So yeah, they come with something that you have to bring to the table. Describe something and a trigger for advancement. If something you did during the session brought you closer to revenge, you advance. Chess master. Your plan was to do with absolute power. Crusader. Ethical ideal. Gladiator. Someone, a warrior you admire and want to emulate. Icon. You're chasing glory. Punk. You're chasing to bring down establishment. Repentant, like regret, make up for your sins. Scholar, study or discover the occult or the obscure subject. The secret. Wild card. Vice, such as an advance if you got your fix during this session in a way nobody, including yourself, expected. Oh, okay. Yeah, I saw this last one and I thought, okay, this is the easier one. Like I have a vice and I just maybe I drink some booze and no, you got your fix in a way nobody, including yourself, expected. That's a very very specific trigger and very cleverly designed because otherwise it would feel, I suppose, unbalanced. So I like how Claymore here not only gave you those prompts on what kinds of things you should go after during your sessions, but also they specified how they were to manifest in order for you to advance. Of course, being an Avenger will inform your roleplay in a plethora of situations, but only if you do something that brings you closer to your revenge or defeat someone who is wronging others in the same way. So you see, uh, the vengeance is not only for you, but if you see something happening to other one, you can do it, right? It could be a very different Avenger were Claymore to choose a different trigger for advancement, right? This is, I think, the most important page to of for the game, for setting what kinds of adventures we will have. Assuming that players will pursue advancement, they will look for opportunities to fulfill their triggers here. And as the referee, you should be aware of it and offer those opportunities when designing your missions. Or, in my opinion, which is more interesting, inviting players to contribute with that and openly ask, how do you see yourself here in this mission, finding a way to pursue your agenda? Why not? I really like it. Some people say that's like showing behind the curtains and it spoils the magic of. But it's not. I don't think so. I think we benefit from an open dialogue at all times. Here's a character sheet, very straightforward, very easy. There is so the war dice thing. Still not clear. There is no explanation on the dice roll on how to use it. I think it's like just roll straight 3d6 and add all of them together. I think that's how World of Dungeon does. And they are expendable, but I would appreciate like a small paragraph on exactly how they work. But other than that, very straightforward, very evocative. And that's the game. This is Fist, everyone. So, going back to what we saw when we first started seeing this, we on the H page, what are the promises that we had? Let's go back to the game page. We were promised a game of paranormal mercenaries. That's it. Brutal action, so fast fluid stunts and combat. PBTA inspired. Your system deepens organically as characters advance. So I say this is done by just adding more traits. Tactical operations, so the mission structure divided in 3 phases. And a lot of options for character customization. 47 brand new traits. Revised content from Cyclops and Tel 501. So yeah, promise delivered. It is a game of that emulates, I think, this kind of fiction in which you are special in a way, but very ordinary in other ways. Like you have your own goals and objectives, and you can die at any moment. And you're living in an age that you were trying just to survive because everything is complex and messed up. And I appreciate the structure of playing single sessions and then getting them all together and on an overarching campaign. Very well done. I really liked it. I recommend you check it out. If you want to, the link is down in the description, but I'll also show it here for you. ClaymoreRPGs.h.io. And if you liked what I did here, I'd like to ask you to consider subscribing and spreading the word around, because I plan to do this very often. It's an opportunity for me to highlight indie game designers that games that caught my eye, and for me is also an opportunity to read new games, get new references. For example, today I really love that twist rule that you came up with, and yeah, it's just good to have more people looking at new games, right? So you can find my games on itch as well if you want to. My games are at kapakli.h.io. The link is also in the description, or you can buy me a coffee if you want. I have a push out a system reference document for you to make your GMless action-packed games. And I'm planning a game jam using the system very soon. So the SRD is free. You can go ahead and grab one if you want. It's available on my H page as well. Right? Well, that's it for today. I hope you enjoy it, and I see you soon. Bye bye.